With you guys today, DiJonai Carrington, after clotheslining Sophie Cunningham, running into the locker room, screaming, "That's white privilege!" Then tweeting 8/23, threatening Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. DiJonai Carrington now comes out and clarifies what she means when she says white privilege for the Indiana.
2 minutes left in the first quarter. DiJonai Carrington just slapped the dog shit out of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie pops up. She's obviously upset. DiJonai says, "Try me." And then look at Stephanie White. Look at her face. Look. She's mad as shit. Now, number one, this is obviously a flagrant 2. It just is. By the letter of the law, you got to call a flagrant 2. We all know
that girl needs to be thrown out the league. She's not even a good enough player to be bringing this type of drama. She needs to be thrown out.
What started as one controversial foul involving Sophie Cunningham has now turned into a much bigger WNBA conversation, and DiJonai Carrington is right in the middle of it. The reaction from fans has been intense, and the debate is no longer just about one physical play on the court. It is about accountability, consistency, and whether the league is treating controversial incidents the same way across the board. Carrington has become one of the main names connected to this controversy, and the pressure is clearly building. Some fans believe the criticism has gone way too far, while others argue that the foul deserved serious attention. And that divide is exactly what has made this story explode. The Sophie Cunningham situation has created a wave of reactions because fans aren't simply watching the play anymore. They're analyzing every detail. They're asking what happened before the contact, what happened immediately afterward, and whether the response from the league has been strong enough. And now, the biggest question is this: is DiJonai Carrington actually being pushed into the spotlight unfairly, or is the backlash a natural consequence of a controversial moment? Because when a play becomes this emotional, every new reaction can change the entire conversation. And this story is only getting started.
Cunningham, otherwise known as MAGA Barbie in the WNBA, is a superstar player. She's one of the most famous female athletes in the world because she stood up for women in women's sports, saying only biological women should be allowed to play in the WNBA. And for that, she is literally risking her life. Check this out. This is what happened to Sophie Cunningham last night when she was clotheslined by a filthy, dirty player for Chicago who has a name that I can't pronounce, or maybe I just refuse to do that. That's my right as an American. But this is a player that has attacked Caitlin Clark, gouged her eye out, that has now bloodied the face of Sophie Cunningham, and as soon as she did this, she tweeted white privilege, meaning she's declaring this is a race crime. Now, if a white woman was doing this to black women, it'd be the #1 story in the world. She'd be banned from the league forever. But somehow black women are allowed to get away with this against white women. And it's white women in the league who make themselves a target by simply standing up for traditional values and common.
Goo! That's assault, brother. You can't do that. What the fuck? Is this just the default if you can't think? Or if you just don't want to take accountability for your actions? Oh my god, this league, bro, this league. Oh, white privilege while you're wearing a bleach blonde dyed wig. I mean, the fuck? What is privileged about that? You stone cold Steve Austin clotheslined her ass. What about that is white privilege? The WNBA stays undefeated. It truly does. They can't get out of their own way.
Let's go back to the moment that started all of this. The foul involving Sophie Cunningham immediately grabbed attention because of the physical nature of the play. In women's basketball, physical defense is obviously part of the game, but there is always a line between aggressive basketball and contact that fans believe goes too far. That line is exactly where the debate begins. One side sees the incident as part of competitive basketball. The other side sees something that should have received a much stronger response. And when those two opinions collide online, the discussion can become bigger than the original play itself. Fans began sharing their opinions, breaking down the footage, and comparing the incident to other moments around the league. Suddenly, this wasn't just about Carrington and Cunningham. It became another debate about how physical play is judged in the WNBA. And that's important because fans want consistency. They want to know that similar situations will receive similar treatment regardless of which players are involved. When fans believe that standard isn't consistent, frustration grows very quickly. That's why this controversy has continued to gain attention. It isn't simply about whether one foul was hard or soft. It's about the perception of fairness, and that is something every professional sports league has to take serious.
Beyond concerning at this point how far from the plot we have actually gotten. And when I say the plot, I mean the basketball. How far from the game of basketball we have spiraled. When we're talking about the WNBA, you know, we used to joke, it's like, oh, 0 days without drama in the WNBA. This league is living up to it at a rate and a level of concern that we haven't ever had with all the
that's going on in the WNBA. DiJonai Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouls her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. DiJonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not it. What the hell do y'all think?
For DiJonai Carrington, the biggest problem may not even be the original foul anymore. It's the reaction that followed. Once a player becomes the center of a viral sports controversy, the conversation can quickly move beyond the court. Every interview, every replay, and every social media reaction suddenly becomes part of the story. Carrington is no stranger to playing with intensity. That's part of what makes her such a competitive presence on the court. But intensity also comes with a price. When a physical moment becomes controversial, that same aggressive style can suddenly be viewed through a completely different lens. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Supporters are defending Carrington and arguing that emotions and physicality are part of professional basketball. Critics, however, believe the situation deserves more accountability. The interesting part is that both sides believe they are defending the integrity of the game. One side wants players to be allowed to compete physically. The other wants players protected from unnecessary or dangerous contact. Finding the balance between those two positions is one of the biggest challenges in modern basketball. And as the conversation continues, Carrington is left dealing with something every athlete fears: the story becoming bigger than the actual game.
Right across the face, coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is
get what you fucking deserve.
And just getting her out of the
Lucky
way.
it wasn't a right hook.
Make no mistake about it, Carrington targeted Cunningham. She targeted her because of her political stances. She targeted Cunningham because of the praises that she keeps receiving. She targeted her with a dirty shot that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. And then after getting ejected, she runs to the locker room to play the fucking victim card. Like she didn't try to just take off Cunningham's head in 4K. Like we all didn't just watch it happen. That is not competition. That is a grown woman swinging on someone who she disagrees with and then screaming racism when she gets held accountable for it. DiJonai Carrington needs to be held responsible, and I'm not talking about just getting ejected from the game. She deserves a suspension. Maybe she'll think twice next time before she tries to take somebody's fucking head off.
Like the way Sophie Cunningham came down on her leg, she could have been injured. So they said, yo, get out of here, dog. Get out of here. Then, I don't know if y'all was looking at her lips. She was talking about, try me. Try me. Yo, you already tried Sophie? You got all the samples of Sophie. You talking about try me. What are you talking about? This lady is unhinged right now, man. This is crazy work. And it makes you wonder. It's like, dog, you were the best player for the Sky at this moment. Look how she landed on the leg. Oh my goodness. Like, you were the best player for the Sky, and you decided to do this? You weren't even thinking about the game. You was thinking about some kind of revenge or something. Somebody sent you on a mission. You were on a mission, dog. I don't know what you had going on here, but DiJonai, this is unacceptable. Disrespectful, disgusting, and I'm glad they got you up out of there. All right.
Then there's Sophie Cunningham, whose role in this controversy has made the entire situation even more emotional for fans. Cunningham has developed a strong following, and whenever she becomes involved in a controversial moment, her supporters are quick to speak out. That's why the reaction has been so loud. Fans aren't just discussing a basketball play, they're defending a player they feel strongly connected to. And once that happens, every detail becomes important. Was the contact necessary? Was it simply physical defense? Should officials have reacted differently? Should the league have reviewed the situation more closely? These are the questions being asked over and over again. But there is another side to consider. Basketball is an extremely physical sport, and players are going to make mistakes. Not every hard foul automatically means there was malicious intent. That's something fans sometimes forget when emotions are running high. The challenge is separating the action from the intention. We can criticize a play without automatically assuming what was inside a player's head. And that's where this conversation needs to become more balanced. Because if the WNBA wants to continue growing, these controversies can't just become social media battles. Fans need clear standards, players need protection, and everyone needs to understand where the line actually is.
From the flagrant 2 on DiJonai Carrington against Sophie Cunningham, where she proceeded to go into the locker room and tweet white privilege after being thrown out of the game. I'm not going to comment on that situation, but I will say this. This is a flagrant 2. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, don't matter. This is a flagrant. I mean, she clotheslined her. What more do you want? So this looks very bad. It just shows that the WNBA is nowhere near where they need to be professionally, because again, this is a clothesline. It's a flagrant 2.
Mention the fact that she said white privilege. That is the story. The story isn't that she got kicked out. It's that she tweeted out white privilege as though because Sophie Cunningham is white, somehow that's why she got kicked out. They go on to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this all the time. I put together a little clip of DiJonai Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same swat and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair. I don't know if we'll get to that clip in a second when she's falling. Totally dirty play. This is not a skin color thing. She has a history of making dirty plays, and it's fine. The NBA, you can be a rough and tumble league. Now, where this thing gets absolutely bananas is when you start making it into a race and culture war, and the people talking about it are not mentioning 99% of the time that she went back and tweeted white privilege. White privilege how?
And now we're reaching the part of the story that could have the biggest impact, the league-wide debate over consistency. Whenever a controversial foul becomes a major talking point, fans immediately start bringing up previous incidents. They compare plays, players, penalties, and reactions. That's when a single moment becomes part of a much larger argument. Fans begin asking whether the league has a consistent standard for physical play. They want to know why one incident might receive massive attention while another seems to disappear quickly. Whether those comparisons are completely fair or not, they show just how strongly fans care about consistency. And in the social media era, perception can become almost as powerful as the official decision. For Carrington, that means the pressure isn't coming from one place. There are critics, defenders, teammates, opposing fans, and basketball personalities all contributing to the conversation. But this is also where everyone needs to be careful. Strong opinions are part of sports. Personal attacks are something completely different. A controversial basketball play should be debated based on the actual game, not turned into something personal. The WNBA has an opportunity here to show fans exactly how these situations should be handled. Clear communication and consistent standards can go a long way toward calming a controversy that has already become much bigger than expected.
Paying attention to what DiJonai Carrington did to Sophie Cunningham, it was not a race-based decision. And to call that a white privilege-based foul is to completely undermine the term of white privilege and to also completely ignore the rules in basketball. You hit her in the head, you drew blood, you didn't connect with the ball at all whatsoever. So to me, it was just very ignorant and to some degree asinine by DiJonai Carrington to suggest that that call was based on white privilege. Have we seen examples of white players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. Have we seen examples of black players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. There was no white privilege involved in that specific call. DiJonai, you hit her in the head and you drew blood. It was a flake.
So where does this leave DiJonai Carrington and the WNBA? Right now, the controversy surrounding the Sophie Cunningham foul remains a major talking point because it represents something bigger than one moment. It represents the ongoing debate over physicality, accountability, officiating, and consistency in women's basketball. Carrington will probably continue to face criticism from some fans, while others will continue defending her. That's the reality of professional sports. Once a moment goes viral, everyone has an opinion. But the real test isn't whether every fan agrees. The real test is whether the league can establish standards that players and fans can understand. If the same type of contact happens again, what should happen? That's the question that matters. And for Sophie Cunningham, this incident has once again placed her at the center of a major WNBA conversation. Whether you believe the foul was simply part of competitive basketball or something that crossed the line, there is no denying the impact this moment has had on the discussion. As for DiJonai Carrington, the pressure isn't going away simply because the game ended. The conversation has moved online into fan communities and across the broader basketball world. So now we want to hear from you. Was the backlash against DiJonai Carrington justified, or did this controversy go too far? Should the WNBA have handled the situation differently? And where do you think the line should be drawn between physical basketball and unnecessary contact? Drop your opinion in the comments, because this debate is clearly far from over. And if another major development happens, you can be sure the conversation will get even louder.